This is Pampered Chef, and it has always been good luck for me. Like, there's one little seed in there that I'm having trouble with. So you have one of these little things, and you'll catch it every time. Every single time you'll just run it through there and you'll catch whatever's in there. I got one seed. So that worked. All right, here we go. So, actually, I'm going to put the veggies here. I'm going to put this on the stand here. Can you still see? Yeah, you can still see. That's not bad. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the veggies while this is heating up. We are going to spoon veggies into our jars. And I have all of my, this is to grab the jars with, this is to grab the, I'm heating up the lids right now. So as we go, the lids will be hot. And as we ladle in the hot brine onto the vegetables, we will be putting the lid, the hot lid on, which kind of will give it that clean seal. So I have all the lids in a saucepan heating up. This is heating up very nicely. I'm gonna let it go for a little while longer. It's just vinegar and salt and olive oil, lemon juice, water. Oh, and I forgot the sugar. I need sugar. I need 1.5 cups. So, ooh, yeah, because this is 3 bean salad's gonna be good. So let's get that sugar in there because it's got to melt. So there's 1, and I don't like it real sugary. So 1.5 cups is just gonna be perfect. Maybe a little bit more. That's going to help preserve your veggies, and it's going to just taste very southern. So we are going to let this sugar melt basically into this olive oil and vinegar mixture. All right, 4 minutes in. All right, so you can take your time. But I'm gonna move this over and put the veggies here. And I'm just gonna kind of get some tongs. I don't really want to use my hands because, you know, not everything is perfect. These are clean. Make sure everything's clean. And, like, you still could have germs on your hands, no matter what. So, you just want to make sure that, you know, that everything's clean. So I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to use these tongs to get stuff in. Most of the green beans are on top, but I don't want a jar of green beans. I want a jar of everything. So this helps keep your rims clean by having this container on here. So you just kind of gonna push everything down in there, and then the end of this says magnetic. This is what you pull your lids out, so you're not touching anything. And you use this to push your veggies down into the jar, and you get them all in there. You're not really breaking them. You're just kind of pushing them in and fitting them in, and because these are weird, you know. This is a lot of weird veggies, and it's got to get down below the rim. I'm going to pull that one out. And I'll put a little bit more, just the beans in. Because then you still have to have room for your brine. You can't, like, you don't want to overstuff this, but you got to fit it in. It's like you're pushing it down, you're fitting it in. Some of this is going to be too big, so I'm just going to throw it in the next jar. All right, so I've got that done. So I'm going to do the next one. So these little jars are just going to have just not very much stuff because they're small. So it's just enough for you to eat, and we're gonna get all that down in there again. Waiting for that sugar to melt. Get everything below the jar. Okay. Get everything below the jar lid. And when I pour it, I will be putting this back on. Get the beans mixed up. That's a lot of beans, so it's gonna be good. You know, nice little. You don't feel like a salad? You want like 3 bean salad? You don't want to make it? You just get a jar out and open it up and eat it. And you can put it in the refrigerator the night before. You could bring it along when you're traveling. Okay, so let me check on this sugar here. It looks like it's getting there. Not quite. Almost. Yeah, see. Oh, yeah. All right. So I'm stirring the brine. I still feel a little bit of sugar on the bottom. And it has to be hot. And my pot of water is getting hot. My big pot where I'm going to put the jars in. Move this over so you can see the process a little bit. I'm going to turn the heat off of the brine, because I think the brine is done. The sugar is pretty much, I don't know what the word is, emulsified. The sugar is pretty much a part of the oil and everything. So I'm going to use a ladle, clean ladle, and I'm just going to ladle. Not a lot, because you don't want to go over the edge. It's just going to fill it up just, you could see it. And then I'm going to move on to the next one. And this way you're not getting stuff on your rim. Just kind of filling it up with that good, you don't need a lot, because these little jars, you want them to come just to the top of the vegetables, because it doesn't need a lot, and you just want it to just come to the top, right? Because you don't need a lot of brine, because so you're gonna take, so these are hot, and I'm gonna get a lid. One of my lids are stuck. I need this lid. So I've got this lid right here. It's a wide mouth lid. And it's going to go right here. And I have my silver lid cover that just goes right over the top. Boom. So I only have 3 wide mouth. The rest are regular sized. So I do these because they're done, and I'll move them to the back, and I'll move the other ones to the front so I can load them. And then everything's going to go in the canner at once. So I'm going to move this over, move a couple jars over so I can start filling them, and move these out of the way because they're done. They're ready to go. I could actually stack them. They are not sealed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill with veggie and this beautiful beans and green beans. And so I take the end of my thing and I'm poking it down, and you can see how beautiful this is. And it gets all of the, you're making room, because see, you got to get some of those beans down in there, because otherwise you're just going to have air, and you're going to have broth, this brine, and that's just, you don't drink the brine. I mean, you could use it for something else, but pretty much you're just in it for the veggies to get really vinegary and yummy. These are different lids. These are screw top lids. Oh, I forgot to put the brine in. Yeah, put the brine in. Duh. Okay, so put the brine in, and then you'll see that you don't need much, because basically when you're pushing all the 3 beans down, all the bean mixture and veg, it takes up most of the room. So, and then it forces the brine in between. So look at that. Is that gorgeous? See how there's a little bit of space down there? I need to do better on the next one. All right, so this one, I need to push it down more. Because you don't want spots. You want, fill in that veg. You want to fill it in. You want everything, because things fall different. And you don't put a lot of pressure. I just put it so it's just fills in. Fills all the spots in. And then a little bit more black-eyed peas. And brine. It's going to be, these beans are going to be phenomenal. They're going to have the sugary, vinegary, just like you bought them from the store. So this one, these have the, this lid is just different. It's a different lid. It'll seal, it's just different. It's more like professional, like company lid stuff. I like the 2-piece lid myself, but with COVID, there hasn't been, like, everyone's canning. So, dude, it's like, I can't find supplies for canning. It's very, like, hard to do. You have to, like, shop around and go to, like, old hardware stores in local little towns where it's, like, mom and pop, because that's where there's more stuff. Like, the grocery stores are just, everything's gone because everyone's canning because they're worried about eating and getting food, and I think a lot of people spending a lot of time at home taught themselves how to can, so that's really good. I mean, I kind of learned from my grandma, watching my grandmother, and this is the 2-piece one. I had one 2-piece, and my grandmother canned a lot. Everything. That was my grandmother on the farm. Like everything. Like I said, she had a basement. Like everything she grew went into jars. And they ate. I mean, they lived in Illinois, so they had some harsh winters. Like what's happening now. So, and then you're living out in the middle of nowhere. You can't go out and get food. Maybe for a week or so. So everything, you rely on your canning. So I'm getting to the point where I'm only going to have enough for one more veg. So, and then if you have brine left over, I don't keep it. I'll probably throw it in my garden. But I thought it was going to make more than what it made. All these veggies, and I kind of doubled them up. So here's another just regular jar. And I think I have enough to make one more jar. So really this recipe says I can make 10 half pints. So I made 1, 2, 3. And I made 4 pints, so these are 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, that was 11. So really, I'm going to get more out of this. I added a little bit more black-eyed peas. I added a little bit more green beans. Now, it can come, I won't push this one down because it doesn't need to. It has headspace, so I'm just going to kind of go with it because this is my last one and I don't really have anything else to put in a jar. So I'm just going to kind of double check and make sure there's enough brine in each one. Because like when you're going to eat this, you're going to, like this one could probably use a little bit more brine. You're just going to probably eat the bean salad and get rid of the brine. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. I want to make sure there's enough brine in here to cover the veggies. Because then, if you don't, you might have, I go back sometimes and I'll just look. You won't be able to unseal them once they're sealed unless you want to eat them. So these extra jars I'll just put back in my pantry. I'm going to do this last one. Voila, look at that. 3 bean salad. A little bit of a mess, not bad to clean up. There's my jars. There they are, and I'm going to put them in right now and show you how to do that. So You have these things you can get anywhere. Right here, these are grabbers. You grab it, and it goes in the hot water. I can usually fill, you have to have enough water. As you put these jars in, the water will rise and will go over the lids. The water has to be over the lid. Okay, it has to be over the lid to seal. It has to be underwater. It is called a hot water method. See, each one has a slot, but you can fit, these little ones I can fit actually on top of each other, and I can put one in the middle like that. That one will go down, and I'll probably put one over here. I'll just fit him in, and then just kind of, it's okay if they're on their side, as long as they're covered in water, which it looks like everyone is. So what I do is cover it up, set the timer for, I'm going to go about 6 to 17 minutes. And then when I'm done, I take the jars out. They sit for about a day, and I make sure that they seal, and I'll do a quick little thing to show you what that looks like. And otherwise, I'm done. And here's Luke. He's my white boxer, and he's sitting in his sun, and he's waiting for food.